Hi, so you're here to learn 5 questions to ask on first dates. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few more questions onto my website as well. So if these questions don't work for you, you can head on over there and find out a few more options that may tickle your fancy. Now my first question is a really great question for if you just don't want to be asking, how are you? Now this first question is, what has been the highlight of your week so far? Now this is good because it's a highlight of the week so that people can't go into too much of a negative zone, and that's great for first dates because we want to keep our first dates as positive as possible. The second question is, what are you most grateful for in life? And as you can see, there's a little bit of a theme here of trying to ask open-ended positive questions. So with all your questions, you want to be thinking of things that do not elicit a yes or a no response. And this will hopefully lead to a stronger conversation that goes a little bit deeper. My third question is, what have you learned about yourself during lockdown? Now what I want to say here is that sometimes our open-ended questions can panic our dates a little bit and put them on the back foot, and when someone's nervous they're also not going to necessarily have the answer quite as readily. So if you think that your date feels uncomfortable, the best thing that you can do is to go first and give your answer so that you can help your date out of a difficult spot. Question number 4. If you could spend an hour interviewing one public figure, who would you choose and why? But I absolutely love this question because it means that you can find out a little bit about the type of person that your date is interested in, and moreover why they're interested in that type of person. You can also mix this one up a little bit and ask that question and get their serious answer, and then be like, oh, is there anyone that you'd like to interview but that you don't really want to admit? And then at that point you can maybe confess to someone that maybe you shouldn't want to interview but you actually do. Now my 5th question is, what's the best book that you've ever read and why? Now that sort of question is a little bit obvious and a little bit basic, but it's a really good one for if you want to save a situation when you start to feel like the date's going a little bit stagnant. It's also great because you can alter it and tailor it to your date. Obviously not everyone's interested in books, so you don't want to be asking someone who's never read a book in their life about their favourite book. That wouldn't work. But what you can do is you can go onto your date's profile, or you can ask them some questions before your date, suss out what they're into, and then you can bring that up on your actual date. So those are my 5 questions that you might want to be asking on virtual first dates. As I said before, there are more on my website, so do feel very welcome to go over there if these questions don't work for you. Ultimately, when we're on dates, we want the conversation to flow, but it's not always going to be the case, and it's even harder on virtual first dates to get that bouncing back and forth. But remember, it's not all on you, and also that you don't have to be like this super interesting person. It's better to be interested in your dates than to try really hard to be interesting.